Hey guys, I'm back to you with another commentary, this time for my Eranog rank 1 parse, uh, which is actually still active funnily enough. And I'm gonna try and cover more about basics, not basics of Arcane, but I guess what matters for Arcane on a fight like Eranog, because it's not a unique fight, alongside, covering the fight itself. So when we look at a fight like Eranog, what we're really looking at is how do we maximize our Touch of the Magi and cleave windows while also maintaining good damage, right? That's the most important thing. If it's a matter of just like DPSing the boss, then you just send shit on cooldown most of the time and it's gonna work out. But there's a lot of opportunities here for cleave, and the best way to do this is by looking at logs and looking at timings of, when adds spawn and stuff like that. Typically speaking, as Arcane with our current iteration, the most amount of cleave is basically depending on how long adds live. If you want a single burst of damage on as many adds as possible, that's going to be your Touch of the Magi exploding. If you want a sustained amount of cleave, so if things are alive for a long, like 8 to 10 seconds, that's going to be your Touch of the Magi window in general with Arcane Echo. Obviously, ideally, if it's something lives for like 8 seconds, it would be like exploding and then the 8 seconds before that, right? So like the last 8 seconds of touch, not the first 8 seconds, because you want the end part. And if things live long enough, actually, you even get the barrage from the Radiant Spark into the touch, and then you do the whole touch and it explodes. On a fight like Eranog, adds die very fast, as I'm sure you guys have seen in your guilds, same as mine. And the important thing is to really figure out which one is the most appropriate kind of cleave we want to use based on the timing and how it lines up with our natural set of cooldowns. So if I go into the fight, for example, I know that the first set of adds spawns at around 20 seconds. 20 seconds is roughly speaking the amount of time it takes for you to get a full ramp off, including Touch of the Magi to explode. So you see here, I get into the fight straight away. My most important thing is I'm going to build missiles. And you see the timer in the middle of my screen that I've prepared ahead of time tells me that I need to start doing my surge sequence within the first 5 seconds. So you'll see here I'll drop rune and instantly spam some missiles. And then as soon as that's done, I'm going to start my touch sequence for the surge, right, as my timer expired. So I pop Radiant Spark, I pop my trinket, and I get into it. Yeah, somebody might say that, oh, I got Blessing of Summer, even though my thing says no externals. For what it's worth, Blessings of Summer does not count as your damage anymore on the logs. So this rank 1 is without Blessings of Summer. And obviously no PIA. I don't get PIA either. But anyway, I get into it, nothing special, usual single target rotation. I do my barrage. I have lust, so I do the blast barrage. I do my touch, and then I'm like just kind of funneling into my touch. Unfortunately, here I get my the add on me. So this is something that Erenog's an easy boss. I didn't prepare that much to be honest. I actually should have prepared better. What I should be doing is I should be runing over here where my cursor is right now, because then if I do get the add, then I don't need to leave my rune. Unfortunately, I should have taken my own advice from the past to always stay in the rune. Obviously, I can't always stay in the rune here. If I had shimmer, I could like alter shimmer, and then after the drop, I alter back, right? You can do it quickly. But unfortunately, I'm playing ice flows here, so I do end up having to leave my rune, unfortunately. But that, fortunately for me, I did enough damage that it didn't matter. So watch this. The ads are about to spawn. My Touch of the Magi has 1 second left, right? Now watch. Some people have said like, how do you get to kill the ads so fast? My guild one-shots the ads. This is how. My Magi has 0.8 seconds and the ad spawned. Look at the details. I'm doing 160k right now. Now watch. My touch explodes. Bam. I've done 4 million damage. It explodes and I'm fucking popping off. Actually more, 5 million damage. The moment they spawned, my touch exploded on them all. That's exactly what we want. I would have done a lot more if I got to stay in my rune. Like, I literally lost at least 1 million damage by having to leave my rune. Probably more than 1 million damage, actually. But in any case, I shifting power, I get back into it. Usual rotation, get my orb. There are some, like, quote-unquote single target mistakes going on here, but frankly, the most important thing that's going to matter in this fight is just timing your sequences right. So in this one here, after I get my stuff up, I'm going to start my touch sequence again. Rune, Radiant Spark. Gotta get going straight away. This time, I'm not going to be able to get everything, so I go into it. I make a decision here that I have Radiant Spark up at 4. I could barrage and go into a touch. I think I end up holding Oh, I ended up holding for the barrage, but then the ads took too long, and then got scared, so I just sent my barrage and then regretted it because the ad spawned right after. But it is what it is. I'm getting my missiles. You see I'm spamming clear casting here because all the ads are alive, so Arcane Echo is gonna cleave. Missiling, and I end up sending my barrage because the ads are pretty low HP. It's kind of like, it's like a triage situation. You gotta figure out what you can get in before the ads die. Obviously, this boss is very close to dead already because this fight is super undertuned. But yeah. Now notice here, my timer says surge, no shifting. You'll see why after my surge, but I'm going to show how to play out. But remember this no shifting, okay? So normally you would evocate, do your surge, and then your shifting power and do a mini, right? That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to evocate, and I'm straight away going to go into my surge. Once again, just getting my cleave. This time, the only kind of cleave I can get is my harmonic echo. Maybe my barrage if I'm really lucky if things don't die. No, it's not going to happen. Not even my arcane surge, but it is what it is, It cleaves 2 targets at least because the captain is still alive. Not the worst thing ever, I'm still getting a big cooldown off. So I'm just slamming the boss here still. I was considering maybe if I sent my cooldowns a second earlier, maybe my Touch of the Magic could explode on these ads. This is something that I still want to test, but I haven't gotten the chance to because, to be honest, I have rank 1. I don't care to improve it much anymore. I mean, I should care. It's just, I don't want to put effort into something easy when I should be focusing on something harder. But anyway, I keep going my touch, it explodes, and then I swap onto the ad, I start hitting it, just random stuff. Now notice here, this is where I'm supposed to usually be shifting, and I'm not shifting power. And you'll see why. Notice that because I'm not shifting, if I shifted right now, I would have my cooldowns now. If I do that and then I hit the boss, if I can't hit the ad, right? Because if I hit the ad, I can't burst on the ad, that would just waste it. Because the ad's gonna die in 2 seconds. If I burst on the boss, and I'm not contributing to ad damage, which is bad. Instead here I opt to not shift, just hit the ad, and then boom, we get through. As soon as we get through, I'm building harmonies again, do a little bit of business, and then I'm gonna go into my mini burst, and then I'm gonna do my ramp. Importantly, what's going on here is that this is now suddenly a repeat of my initial sequence. Right? So I'm gonna start my ramp, just like I did on pull. And the timing should work out very similar to the one on the pull. Where, I'm going to have the ad spawn as my Touch of the Magi is expiring. It might not be pixel perfect as the first time, but it should be pretty damn good. See, the ads spawn, they get AoE gripped, I barrage as they end up, and with everything together and Touch of the Magi and execute, my barrage does some fat damage. It hits, Touch of the Magi explodes, boom, 500k extra damage. And now I'm shifting power. And because now I've shifting powered, I get to evocate. And then do my surge again. Unfortunately, I should have, I don't know if I could have had my my harmony built up already, so I opt to cancel my evocation a little bit early because I know this boss is dying. My weak card tells me 20 seconds time to death. So I know that, I gotta get going. So I interrupt my evocation, 2%, 4% intellect that I miss out, it's not the end of the world. Get my harmony stacks, and then instantly go into my burst as soon as possible. At this point, all I'm thinking is I need to get my cooldowns off right now. Do my Nether... I actually skip my Nether Tempest, you'll see here. I usually do Nether Tempest Surge. Because I know the ads are spawning, I figured I need to kill these straight away, so I'm going to Surge first to get the AoE off, because I wasn't sure if, they're going to get one shot. My Surge hits 4 targets, happy with that. I do my Nether Tempest. In hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have done Nether Tempest. Who knows? Because I don't know if I can afford that global at this point. Barrage into Touch. Barrage hits everything. 400k. Touch is active now. And now I'm just going to spam the living shit out of missiles just to do my Arcane Echo cleaving. And then right before the boss dies, I'm going to throw my Barrage. I Barrage there. I Orb because why not? Arcane Explosion because the boss is dead. And rank 1. Pretty basic. The most important thing is the timers. If you're progressing this fight, I highly, highly, highly recommend you just copy my timers. At least if the ads are grouped up in the same time as my guild is doing. If you don't have an AoE grip or things are not as clean as my guild is doing them, then maybe you'll have to readjust your timers a little bit. But take note in the fact that I did change my shifting power timing, and that made an entire world of difference. If I actually did not shifting power where I did, if I did it before my like before the boss came out again, while we were nuking the ad, then I wouldn't have gotten my last surge off there. And I also, because I would have had to delay my burst, right? Unless you shifting and then just target the boss and ignore the ad, but if you're doing that, you're kind of being like degenerate, you're not helping your guild out with killing the ad. So, highly recommend this alternate version of the sequence. If you're interested in how I come up with these kind of strategies, make sure to check out my previous video where I go over prep and the weak aura that I showed you here in the middle of the screen. It's really amazing. I could not imagine playing without it. It's incredibly helpful to do your own prep and then set up timers for yourself. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.